Drake didn't just lose a rap battle, he may have triggered the biggest downfall of his career. What started as lyrical showdown with Kendrick Lamar spiraled into legal threats, AI scandals, and a full-blown collapse of public support. This wasn't just about bars anymore. It became a test of reputation, respect, and relevance. And with every move Drake made, it looked less like a strategy and more like a mistake he'll never outrun. Drake crossed a line he can't uncross. He didn't just go after Kendrick Lamar, he went after his family, and that changed everything. In the heat of their lyrical battle, Drake released Family Matters, a diss track that didn't just take shots at Kendrick as a rapper, but directly targeted his fiancée and child. This wasn't just about bars anymore, it was personal. Fans and critics alike were stunned, not just by the lyrical content, but by the sheer audacity of bringing innocent people into a public feud. Hip-hop has always had room for aggressive competition, but this felt like it broke an unspoken code. What was meant to be a flex came off as a desperate reach, and the internet reacted swiftly. Instead of gaining ground, Drake seemed to lose control of the narrative, and with it, a chunk of his credibility. In that moment, the backlash began. If you're already seeing how deep this goes, don't miss what comes next. Hit that subscribe button to stay ahead of every move in this unfolding drama. Now, let's talk about the AI stunt that pushed things even further off the rails. Drake thought he was being clever, but the internet saw it as disrespectful. In a now infamous move, he dropped tailor-made freestyle, using AI-generated voices of Tupac Shakur and Snoop Dogg to mock Kendrick Lamar. At first, it caused a stir. Fans were shocked, intrigued, even entertained. But that curiosity quickly turned into outrage. The estate of Tupac wasn't having it. They issued a formal legal warning, threatening to sue Drake for exploiting Tupac's legacy without permission. Suddenly, the stunt that was supposed to give Drake an upper hand became a massive liability. The track was swiftly pulled from all social platforms, and the narrative flipped. What Drake meant as a power play was now seen as a tasteless gimmick. Instead of sounding dominant, he came across as manipulative and tone-deaf, especially to a culture that holds Tupac's legacy sacred. And Kendrick? He didn't even flinch. Kendrick hit back with precision and power. While Drake scrambled with controversial tactics, Kendrick Lamar responded with laser focus, and the world took notice. His track Euphoria wasn't just a diss, it was a dismantling. Kendrick didn't need AI voices or personal jabs. He used sharp lyricism, raw emotion, and pointed delivery to strip away Drake's image. Then came Not Like Us, a scathing follow-up that didn't just respond, it dominated. The beat was infectious, the bars were brutal, and the message was crystal clear. Kendrick wasn't just playing defense, he was claiming victory. Fans rallied around him, radio stations kept him on rotation, and social media crowned him the winner before Drake could even reply. What Kendrick showed was restraint and precision. He didn't need to shout, he just needed to strike exactly where it hurt. And when he did, the cultural momentum shifted completely in his favor. The public turned on Drake almost overnight. Drake used to control the room, now he can't even control the narrative. After dropping diss tracks that felt more like personal attacks and publicity stunts, fans began to question his motives, and worse, his character. Once viewed as the charismatic king of mainstream rap, Drake suddenly looked desperate, defensive, and out of touch. Social media platforms exploded with criticism, memes ridiculed his strategy, and hip-hop commentators started calling out the cracks in his throne. Meanwhile, Kendrick's fan base and even many of Drake's former supporters rallied behind the Compton rapper, praising him for his sharp lyrical restraint and integrity. It wasn't just about who had the better bars anymore, it was about who kept their respect. In trying to win the battle, Drake lost something far more valuable, the people. And in hip-hop, once the crowd turns on you, the climb back is brutal. Then was the lawsuit that made things even worse. Just when fans thought Drake had reached rock bottom, he made a move that raised even more eyebrows. He sued Universal Music Group. The reason? He claimed that Kendrick's viral hit Not Like Us was artificially boosted using bots and unethical streaming manipulation. On paper, it might sound like a strategic counterattack, but in reality, it looked like a sore loser's play. Instead of focusing on making stronger music or addressing Kendrick's lyrical jabs, Drake turned to legal arguments, and the internet wasn't buying it. Critics labeled it as weak, fans mocked the move, and industry insiders questioned why one of the most powerful rappers in the world suddenly seemed so rattled. Rather than regaining control, Drake's lawsuit deepened the perception that he was unraveling. And worse, it gave Kendrick an even bigger win. Now, it wasn't just lyrical domination, it was legal humiliation too. Drake's image took a permanent hit. He didn't just lose a rap battle, he damaged the very thing that made him untouchable, his brand. For over a decade, Drake carefully built an image of versatility, charm, and dominance. He was the hitmaker, the lover, the tough guy when needed, a master of every angle. But this feud with Kendrick exposed something else: insecurity. His erratic responses, over-reliance on shock tactics, and failure to read the cultural temperature made him look less like a calculated genius and more like an artist spiraling under pressure. Fans who once defended him began to question whether the sixth god had lost his edge. Brands, influencers, and even fellow artists stayed unusually quiet during his low moments, a silence that spoke volumes. The Drake who once dictated the culture suddenly seemed behind it. And that loss of mystique, it's something no apology or chart-topping single can easily fix. Kendrick's rise became unstoppable. While Drake's image crumbled, Kendrick Lamar stepped into a new era, one where he wasn't just respected in hip-hop, he was now revered. His diss tracks weren't just clever responses, they became anthems of cultural power. Not Like Us turned into a viral moment, not just for its beat or bars, but for what it represented, a shift in dominance. And Kendrick didn't stop there. His performances started trending, his fan base surged, and his name began circulating in conversations about the greatest of all time, not just lyrically, but in impact. What made it even more powerful was Kendrick's restraint. He let the music speak, kept his cool publicly, and avoided the drama Drake kept falling into. This calm confidence became his weapon. While Drake tried to prove he was still the king, Kendrick simply became it, without ever needing to say a word. Drake's strategy was a complete misfire. What was meant to be a power move ended up exposing all of Drake's weaknesses. His entire approach to the Kendrick feud felt more like a PR campaign than a rap battle. From AI-generated voices to questionable lawsuits and deeply personal jabs, Drake seemed to rely on shock value instead of lyrical precision. And in the eyes of the hip-hop community, that's the fastest way to lose respect. Commentators pointed out that Drake, once the king of calculated hits, appeared confused and reactive. There was no cohesive narrative, just a series of missteps designed to get headlines. Meanwhile, Kendrick stuck to the roots of the culture: pen, beat, message. He didn't need gimmicks. Drake's failure wasn't just about losing to Kendrick, it was about not understanding what the moment required. And in a genre that thrives on authenticity, that kind of misfire is career-wounding. Personal attacks blew up in Drake's face. Drake made the mistake of thinking that going personal would give him an edge, but instead, it sparked a backlash he couldn't contain. His decision to bring Kendrick's fiancée and child into the battle crossed a line that even the most cutthroat rap fans weren't willing to ignore. What was once lyrical competition quickly turned into something ugly and unnecessary. Rather than applauding his bravery or lyrical sharpness, the culture recoiled. Many felt he violated the unspoken boundaries of respect in hip-hop, where battles stayed between rappers, not families. The result? Drake wasn't seen as fearless, he was seen as reckless. That single choice unraveled years of goodwill and made Kendrick's calm, focused responses shine even brighter. When you make it personal and still lose, the fall hits harder. Drake didn't just lose a rap beef, he lost the moral high ground, and the culture never forgets that. This feud could haunt Drake forever. Some moments in a career leave scars that never fully fade, and for Drake, this might be one of them. What began as a high-stakes lyrical showdown became a full-blown unraveling of his public image, credibility, and dominance in hip-hop. He didn't just face a formidable opponent, He walked into a battle unprepared for the cultural weight Kendrick brought with him. Every misstep, the AI controversy, the personal attacks, the lawsuit, added layers to what now feels like a permanent stain on his legacy. Fans will still stream his music, he may still chart, but the aura around Drake, that untouchable can't-miss energy, has cracked. Kendrick walked away bigger, sharper, and more respected. Drake walked away looking unsure, reactive, and out of step with the very culture he once ruled. And years from now, this won't be remembered as just a feud. It'll be remembered as the turning point. Drake entered this battle with the confidence of a legend, but walked away with his legacy in question. From personal missteps to cultural misfires, every move he made only seemed to strengthen Kendrick's position and weaken his own. What was supposed to be a show of dominance turned into a lesson in humility, and the internet won't let him forget it. As Kendrick rises even higher, Drake is left facing the fallout of choices that may haunt him for years. This wasn't just a loss, it was a moment of reckoning. If you want to stay locked in as this story unfolds and catch every twist, clapback, and career shift in real time, make sure to subscribe and join the conversation. We're only just getting started.